What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 20 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got 3 picks wrong and got 20 right, which is a 90% win rate. Yes guys, you heard that right, 90% win rate. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 90% win rate and get 20 picks right like me, win more bets or receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon. Should be a link down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $300 just yesterday. Another member who won $150 for the 4th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, a link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're really talking about is LaMelo Ball, and this one is a great one for actually 3-pointers made. This one is for 3.5 3-points made, and this one is for less. Now when we look at LaMelo Ball, we've actually seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now they do face off against a great matchup against the Dallas Mavericks, and when we look further, what we also do see is that the Dallas Mavericks do rank 16th when it comes to 3-point percentage allowed. They rank 5th when it comes to 3-point attempts allowed, and also 7th when it comes to 3 points made allowed. So the Dallas Mavericks rank very well when it comes to restricting 3 points, whether it's attempts or even makes, and we definitely see those being a big case coming into this game. LaMelo, as we all know, is a volume shooter, and he is definitely having some of the highest usage rates we have ever seen when it comes to scoring. However, we do believe Dallas are going to try their best to try to restrict him as much as possible, especially from the 3-point line, as LaMelo is a really big volume shooter from that 3-ball. Now when it comes to LaMelo as well, he has had a little bit of cold matchups and cold games as of lately, going on the under like we mentioned 3 out of the last 5 games. But when we also look at the average over the last 5, it is also only 2.2. So significantly under this line, and especially against a matchup like Dallas, who do a great job at not only just restricting 3-point attempts, but also do a great job at limiting 3-point mades, we do believe LaMelo Ball is going on the under in this situation here. When we also look further, the matchup against Dallas and Charlotte are a fast-paced team. Dallas are a little bit slower. And what we are expecting from this game, due to the pace of this matchup, Dallas do a great job at actually slowing down faster-paced teams, so we definitely see that being the case coming into this game. So LaMelo may not get the same amount of volume that he usually does see from the 3-point line, and we definitely see that affecting him, when it comes to getting over on this line, which is why we are sticking to the under. So for that reason, LaMelo Ball 3.5 3 points made for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about Nick Smith Jr. Now, you may have never heard of Nick Smith Jr. before, but he also does play for Charlotte, and this one is actually a combo one for points and assists. So this one's a combo one for points and assists for 15.5, and this one actually is for less. Now when we look at Nick Smith, we have a similar situation where he's going on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games as well, and they do face off against none other than the Dallas Mavericks. So most recently just did talk about the Dallas Mavericks, but now we're looking at points and assists. Dallas Mavericks ranked 16th when it comes to points allowed, and on top of that, when it comes to assists allowed, we see that the Dallas Mavericks do rank 15th. So a little bit mid-tier in both of those categories. However, we still do like the under for this situation here, due to the fact that when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks, they actually do a very good job at restricting points and assists to the guard position. Now Nick Smith doesn't really have the highest usage rate in these departments. He has a decent usage rate, but not the highest, and we see some other players in the Charlotte team taking away from Nick Smith Jr.'s usage rate, which is another big reason why we are liking the under for a situation like this. Now, Nick Smith as well, like I mentioned, not really the main player, but when we look at his average over the last 5, he's only averaged 14.8. Now, the time that he did go on the over, one, he did have an outlier game where he did get 19 against Denver, but the other one was against Portland, and he only made it over by 0.5. So he hasn't really been convincingly going on the over or getting close to this line to our liking. We've seen him more likely go on the under, and we definitely see that being a big case, which is why we are sticking to the under for this situation here. So we are sticking to the under. So Nick Smith Jr., 15.5 points and assists for less, I think is a great pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about another game, and that is none other than Stephen Curry. So, Stephen Curry, as we all know, has been playing fantastic, and they have been on a great win streak when it comes to the Golden State Warriors. Now, this one is a great one because it's another combo for actually rebounds and assists for 9.5, and this one is for less. Now, we look at Stephen Curry. We've actually seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Orlando Magic. Now, we look at the Orlando Magic when it comes to rebounds and assists. We do see that the Orlando Magic do surprisingly rank second when it comes to assists allowed and second when it comes to rebounds allowed. So they rank very high in both of those categories, and that is a big reason why we are liking the under for this situation here. When we look at someone like Steph Curry, yes, he does have a decent usage rate in both of these departments, but the fact that Orlando ranks so high, we definitely see that being a big case and try to restrict him as much as possible. We have seen Orlando Magic over the last, season do a great job at actually restricting stars, whether it's points, rebounds, and assists, and it definitely does see that Orlando Magic's game plan on a day in, day out basis has definitely been to restrict stars as much as possible. So we see that happening with someone like Steph being the leader of this team. His average over the last 5 is 8.8, so significantly under this line. And the times that he has gone over hasn't really convinced us enough, to really like the over, which is why we are liking the under for this one. When we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well, so that works out in our favor there. And the pace of this game, with Orlando being a very slow-paced team, we actually see Orlando slowing the pace down for this matchup and slowing down Golden State Warriors, which should lead to also less volume from the Warriors in total. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation for Stephen Curry. So Stephen Curry, rebounds and assists for 9.5 rebounds and assists combo for less, I think is a great pick. Now, getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant, as we all know, has been struggling a little bit when it comes to his team. The Phoenix have been struggling a little bit when it comes to, their ranking in the Western Conference, but we still have a great pick for PRA, or points, rebounds, and assists for 36.5, and this one is for less. Now look at Kevin Durant. We've actually seen him go in the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the actual New Orleans Pelicans. So it is going to be an interesting matchup, but when we look at the New Orleans Pelicans, we see that they rank 26 when it comes to points allowed, 26 when it comes to assists allowed, and then 28 when it comes to rebounds allowed. Now, we do very much like the under for this situation here, due to the fact that when it comes to KD, he hasn't really been able to show us on a nightly basis, especially over the last 5, a consistency of getting close to this line. He's going on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, and Pelicans as well also do a really good job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the forward position. So we definitely see that being a big case coming into this matchup, especially due to the fact that when we look at his average over the last 5, he only has been averaging 29.2. So that's significantly below this line of 36.5. So it's a huge discrepancy there. And we definitely see that playing a huge part coming into this game. KD and the rest of the Phoenix Suns just haven't really been, sharp as of lately. Now, Phoenix are still trying to push for a spot in the NBA playoffs. A lot of teams or a lot of other teams have already looked at starting to tank, but I think Phoenix are going to continue to play, so he will still have a good usage rate out there, but definitely not enough to go on the over. So that's why we are sticking to the under for a situation like this, especially with the way KD has been playing as of lately. So Kevin Durant, 36.5 points, rebs, and assists for less, I think is a great pick. Now, getting into the next one is Klay Thompson. So Klay Thompson, as we all know, another great player, and had himself a monster game against LA Lakers recently. But Klay Thompson, this one is for points for 16.5 points, and this one actually is for less as well. Now we look at Klay Thompson. We've actually seen him going the under in 2 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against the Charlotte Hornets. Now the Charlotte Hornets, although not the best team, they still do rank 13th when it comes to points allowed. So they do a great job at actually restricting points, and we definitely see that being a case coming into this game. Now Klay Thompson is a guard, and Charlotte also do a really good job at restricting points to the guard position, so we definitely see that playing a huge effect coming into this matchup. Now Klay Thompson as well, what we are also seeing is that his average over the last 5 is 16.2, so slightly below this line. He most recently had a game against LA Lakers having 22 points. We think that was a little bit of an outlier game. It's brought this line a little bit too high, that now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under here. So for someone like Klay Thompson, we could definitely see him be able to take advantage of this on a night basis. However, we think with the matchup against Charlotte is definitely going to affect that. So for that reason, we are sticking to the under for this one. So Klay Thompson, 16.5 points for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about Franz Wagner. So Franz Wagner, great player, and this one is for points for 25.5 points, and this one actually is for less. Now when we look at Franz Wagner, we've actually seen him go in the under in 5 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against the Golden State Warriors. Now we look at the Golden State Warriors, we see that they rank actually 9th when it comes to points allowed, so they rank very high in that category. Now we definitely see that being a huge case on why we are sticking to the under for a situation like this. Warriors do a great job at restricting points, but also do a great job at restricting points to the forward position, and that's where we really do see Franz Wagner struggling. Now his average over the last 5 is also 21.6, so significantly below this line as well. So all signs really do point towards the under for this one, and we are sticking to it, especially for a situation like this. So for that reason, I would definitely keep an eye out for it. When we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well, so it works out in our favor there. So for that reason, Franz Wagner, 25.5 points for less, I think is a great pick.